What's up guys, Magnolia Mo here and welcome back to my channel. This is my unboxing and review of the SMSL RAW-HA1. Let's see what's inside the box. Some styrofoam, a user manual in Chinese and of course in English, a full functional remote control, an HDMI cable, USB-A to USB-C cable for the built-in USB DAC, a 3-prong power cord, and the Bluetooth antenna. And here you go. The SMSL RAW-HA1. Let's start in the front first. So you have the function knob. You press this to select a function, and it is a volume control as well. You have your display screen, and then you have your two headphone jacks, 6.35mm and 4.4mm headphone jacks. Underneath you got these nice feet, right, that actually keep it isolated from the rest of the electronics. Up top you have a high resolution logo, and then around the back you have your power on off switch, you have your power supply input, you got your binding posts for your left and right speaker, then you've got your optical input, you have your HDMI ARC, which is a nice touch, and you have your USB-C input for the USB DAC that's built in, you have the Bluetooth antenna, and then you have your line in RCA jacks, you have your coax input, and you have a subwoofer output. What it doesn't have, as you can see, it does not have an RCA output to go to an external preamp if you want to use this as a DAC only. This has Infineon's new digital power amplifier chip, electronic volume control, Japanese electronic volume control chip is NJW1194. It supports MQA and MQA CD. So on Tidal, I was surprised that some of my albums are still available in MQA, which is, you know, it was a pleasant surprise. But this thing can do full MQA decoding. It's got the Exmos XU316 chip. It has the latest Cirrus Logic CS43131 chip, not the highest end that's found in the Topping Pro 70 Octo, but which I believe that's the 43178, if I'm not mistaken. Nope, that's the 43198. But either way, the DAC on this, the CS43131, still sounds very good, really good actually, I should say. Supports Bluetooth LDAC, aluminum alloy CNC cutting panel, and it's equipped with a full function remote control. The SMSL is 85 watts per channel into 8 ohms and 165 watts per channel into 4 ohms. It has a signal to noise ratio of 108 dB and channel separation of 87 dB. And here are the rest of the specifications. So now let's go over the UI and the setup features of this particular unit. Setup is very simple, all right? So you have your volume control, obviously. You press the volume knob and you are presented with this screen right here with settings. You got your inputs, outputs, PCM filter, equalizer, treble, bass, function key for UI style, language, dimmer, brightness, reset. Okay, so let's start from the top. Inputs. So you can select which input you want to use. I use most of my listening with the USB Type C input. You select that, then you pick your outputs. For output, you can go speaker output. Then for PCM filter, I use the minimum roll-off phase compensated. Then you have your equalizer, and you can set your tone, your bass, super bass. I just use the direct mode. Then you can adjust treble, bass, function key, and your UI style, right? So I just went with universal there. Language, obviously English, dimmer, brightness, and that's it. Here's the setup. I have the SMSL RAW-HA1 hooked up into my PC using an optical cable, and yes, I still have a monster optical and the USB from my PC. And then for speakers, I have the B&W 686S2s that I use as my monitors, and then obviously my home theater PC with the USB-A on one end and the USB-C hooked up on the other end of the SMSL. I also listened to the SMSL with the Martin Logan Montage that you see here. These are 150 watts per channel into 5 ohms. I connected the Sony Blu-ray player via the coax input into the SMSL. Let's talk about sound. On Steely Dan's Gaucho 24-bit 96 kHz FLAC file, track 2, Hey 19, the rhythm guitar flanks the right speaker. Donald Fagen's voice is anchored in the middle. Electric piano synthesizer played by Fagen floats between the left and the right speakers. Around the 2-minute 10-second mark, Donald Fagen leans back and says, "Nice." Right? That creates a sense of depth in the soundstage. The SMSL did a great job with the soundstage, whether it was on my desktop speakers, the Bowers & Wilkins 686's S2, or the Martin Logan behind me, the Montage. When he says "nice," that is clearly behind the plane of the speakers. And here, sitting in my desktop, I could hear the "nice" come from behind the computer monitor over here. So it was really good. Next up was the greatest ballad of all time, at least in my opinion. Lionel Richie's Hello, from the album Can't Slow Down. I have this in FLAC 24-bit 96 kHz. I also have it on a music Blu-ray disc. On Hello, Richie plays the piano. Other musicians who played on it include Darryl Jones and Tim May on guitars, Paul Leem on drums, and Joe Chimay on bass. I love the soundstage on this particular song. The guitar is on the left, and the piano again floats between the left and the right speakers, anchored by the bass. The best part for me is at the 2-minute 43-second mark, when the drums and the guitar light up the listening space. Listening through the SMSL, the music on my 2-channel setup or my desktop was very enjoyable. The entire song just comes alive at that moment when the guitar's playing, the drums coming alive. Up until that point, the song is it's slow, but then it just picks up. So it was a good, enjoyable experience. Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon SACD, which I ripped into DSD files, multi-channel and stereo for my computer audio. On Money, around 5 minutes, there is a blues-style tenor saxophone solo, which is played by Dick Perry, which gives way to David Gilmour playing the electric guitar. That sounded amazing. Both the sax and the guitar floating between the right and the left speakers sounded electric via the SMSL. It was a really, really good experience. And then finally, I wanted to listen to some fusion, right? So Time Control is a studio album by Hirumi Ohara's group Hirumi's Sonic Bloom. It's a concept album centered on the idea of time. So in addition to Hirumi's original trio, the album features guitarist David Fuse, or Fuzinski, whose technique and tonal approach gives the album its characteristic sound. I wanted to see how Time Control on the T-Lark SACD, which I again ripped into DSD files, DSD64, would sound via the SMSL. The combination of the SMSL and the Martin Logan montage behind me was magic. There is an amazing amount of transient detail that has to be delivered in order to fully appreciate what her jazz group can do. I did not miss any of it with the combination of the SMSL and the Martin Logan montage speakers. Obviously, the SMSL can't play as loud as, let's say, my Macintosh 8207 or the full range Martin Logan Theos that I used to have, the electrostatic speakers, right? But I was pleasantly surprised by the bass that the SMSL and the Martin Logan montage combo delivered. All in all, this is a very capable all-in-one unit. The DAC is very impressive. It played all the formats and all the sample rates that I threw at it, and it sounded great in doing so. Whether you use it in a computer desktop setup, as I had it hooked up, or in a 2-channel rig, like behind me, or if you want to start a hi-fi system for $249, you can't go wrong. And did I mention it has a subwoofer output as well, which obviously I didn't use. But if you have monitors or speakers that are not full range, you can always connect a subwoofer to the SMSL. Alright guys, as usual, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. I hope you found this video useful. And if you already own the SMSL RAW-HA1, leave me some feedback. What do you think about it? What are your thoughts? I loved it. I might actually consider replacing the Ehrlich B50 with this particular all-in-one SMSL unit. Alright, I'll see you guys on the next one.